It's May 2021. This is the Anaheim avocado tree we planted. It's doing okay. And then I planted some kind of squash here. I don't know what it is. It's either butternut or Korean squash, or could be kombucha squash. Looking a little wilted here. We'll need to give it a lot of water tonight. This is a mulberry tree that was here. It doesn't make any mulberries, so I tried to graft this mulberry scion from a friend's tree, but I don't think it took. I have to try grafting earlier next year. This is a quince tree that we planted about 9 years ago. It's pretty big now. You can see the fruit right here. Never really used them, but this year I'm giving it more water, so hopefully we'll get some good fruit. And we'll try to make some jam or something out of them. It's an avocado tree we planted from seed about 8 years ago. When you start avocados from seed, you never know what you're going to get. And this might not even make any edible avocados, but I'm letting it grow. I tried to graft a Hass scion here, and yeah, it didn't take. So I'll have to try again next year. This is a Fuerte avocado tree we planted a few months ago. Seems to be doing okay. I think I didn't water it enough, so it's under a little bit of stress. So it probably needs to water again. These are the two cherry trees. They look a little stressed. Probably didn't give it enough water, and the artichokes are looking sad. So I need to give it some water. This is the California buffalo grass. It's supposed to be drought tolerant. We seeded. It's spreading out pretty nicely here where it gets full sun. And then over here where it doesn't get enough sun, it's still pretty sparse. So hopefully we'll fill in by the summer. And then these are the blueberries. More blueberries. I planted some cucumbers here, and hopefully they'll grow up our old chicken coop. We don't have chickens anymore. And some purslane that I'm just letting grow here. And many people think it's a weed, but you can eat it. And then here's more blueberries and some more cucumbers. This is a grape. Let's see what variety it is. Flame seedless grapes. Planted these from bare root a few months ago. It's growing pretty well. And this is a volunteer pepper plant and a volunteer squash plant. I'm just letting it grow, see what happens. Here's the artichokes. Excuse me, no, asparagus. Asparagus crowns we planted this year. I planted 10, and looks like 9 of them are alive. So we'll let them grow this year. And then next year, maybe we can harvest a few spears. And this is the almond tree. And here's the tomato. And I'm not sure which kind of squash it is. I planted a bunch of different kinds of squashes, but I'm not sure which kind. Find out once they start fruiting. These are potato plants that just grew from compost. This used to be our compost pile. I just planted straight on top of it. More tomatoes. Another squash. Our Meyer lemon tree. These are some kind of onion. This was another compost pile, and it's just growing out of our compost pile, and I just planted straight on top of our compost pile. And here's more tomatoes. This is a volunteer kale plant that I'm just letting grow, and more tomatoes. And here's some more squash that I'm not sure what it is. And this one's getting pretty big. Might spread out and take over. Our other kale plant is doing the best it's ever done. This one's about 2 years old now. And here's more tomatoes. Not sure which variety. We'll find out when they start making fruit. It's one of 4 different kinds. I just planted seeds and I don't really mark them, which is probably a bad thing. And here's our Oro Blanco tree. It's making little babies now, right here. These are Marconi peppers from last year. I trimmed them back for the winter and now they're growing back. I'm picking off all the buds so that they'll grow big. And then when they get bigger, I'll let them start fruiting a little bit. And then these are some poblano peppers that are starting from seed. Here's our parsley, which is now going to seed, so we'll collect the seeds. Some Asian leeks growing in here, and then a bunch of the lettuce from the winter is going to seed, so I'll let them make some seeds and then collect them. Here's zucchini, and then eggplant here. I planted a bunch of pepper seeds over there, but none of them took. And this is oregano, which I didn't realize is invasive, so I'm trying to kill it. It'll probably become like the mint in the other part of the yard, where I try to kill it every year, but it grows back, but it'll be enough that we can use. Here's some other kind of squash, and then sweet potatoes. It's kind of a sad looking dinosaur kale. Fava beans. This is a baby pigeon pea plant. So we'll see how this goes. I haven't tried to grow this before, but so far doing okay. It's supposed to do well in drought and poor soil, so should be perfect. And here's the other ones. And this is our pineapple guava tree that we planted 10 years ago. These flowers are pretty good to eat. Lime tree got overloaded this year and broke right here and there. But I trimmed down the broken branches and it seems to be doing well. It's making lots of baby lines. Planted some bush beans next to it to try to, if we get some beans, great. If not, at least it'll fix nitrogen. And walking over here, some other squash I planted. This is an Algerian tangerine. It's making little babies. I probably will pick these off so that it'll just focus on growing this year instead of making fruit. But it seems to be doing pretty well. Over here is a gold nugget. And at first I thought it wasn't doing well, but now it's putting out some new growth here, so that's good. And this is an Asian pear tree. Planted from bare root, and it's doing well. Planted some bush beans next to it to help it fix some nitrogen for the tree. This is the Black Mission fig tree. This thing grows like crazy. I trim it back every year to a nub and it regrows and produces hundreds of figs every year. So I don't know what I'm doing right. I don't really do anything for it other than water it, and it just does well. This is zucchini and some other squash, an eggplant, sweet potatoes, fava beans. the mint that I try to kill every year, but grows back every year. But we use the mint in drinks and stuff. I just try to kill it, and it always comes back. Some grapes we planted 5 years ago. It died, and then it came back. Let's see if it makes grapes this year. This is a moringa tree that died back in the winter. It looks like it still might be alive, but it's not putting out any leaves, so maybe it's dead. And then sweet potatoes, more sweet potatoes. Fava beans, what's left over, the peas, they're dying off. And then more sweet potatoes. And over here, zucchini, tomato, sweet potatoes. What's left of the cilantro. I'm letting the cilantro go to seed. The bees really like it. So lots of bees. And the ladybugs like it too. So these are the wild alpine strawberries. They don't get very big. They just kind of get to that size and they don't turn red. In a few days, these are ready. And then this is what's left over of the green onions. They're dying off now. Probably when they die back, I'll collect the bulbs. More grapes from this year and some pole beans. Looks like they're starting to flower. And then over here is the other grape. And I planted some yard long beans here. They can go up the trellis with the grapes. And over here is the peach tree. So these are donut peaches here and here. And so they were grafted right here several years ago. So this is a graft and this is a graft that took. The rest of these are the regular peaches. And so you see the regular peaches right here. So they're long rather than flattened. It's the Dorset apple tree that was planted. It seems to be doing well. And then just over here is the Anna apple. This has gotten really big. And there's a ton of apples on it. The branches are starting to bend from the weight of the apples. I probably need to heavily prune this thing this fall. This is the other donut peach I planted bare root a few months ago. It has one donut peach right here. I think I'm just going to let it develop since it's kind of far enough. It seems to be doing okay. Rose bush. This is the Valencia orange. And then our grapefruit. And this is a apricot tree that just kind of grew wild from a seed we threw out here. Last year it made a few apricots, but this year it's not making any. So what I might do, if it doesn't make any apricots, I'll probably graft another apricot onto it. Because the rootstock is really strong. I don't even water this thing and it's growing. It's about 12 feet tall now. This is the Snow Queen nectarine. And I planted some bush beans next to it as well as some squash. I don't know if it's going to do well, but we'll see how it goes. Then over here is our Pinkerton avocado tree. So this avocado tree is about 10 feet tall and 10 feet wide. I planted that tree at the same time as this tree, and this tree just looks pathetic. Has not grown at all. So this one's about a foot tall. This one's about 10 feet tall and 100 times its size. I don't know what the difference was. I planted them at the same time. And then this is a Fuerte avocado tree with some artichokes and a squash next to it. In this box I planted a bunch of seeds that were unlabeled. I don't know what they are. I have no idea what these are. I think some kind of turnip or radish or something. And then some dill weed. And then here's our great plant that goes up, pergola. And then our passion fruit. This thing I cut back a ton, and it's back and it's doing well.